This is where it tells me we're preparing to go live, but sometimes I seem to actually be live. So I have to sit here and talk and find out if maybe I'm live or maybe I'm not. And now I think I'm actually live. Yes. Hello and welcome to Tea and New Book Tuesday. I'm Lisa. I will be your librarian today. For today's show, we are going to talk about July pre-orders, as always, or pre-orders, as always. Today is July's science fiction, fantasy, and horror, three of my favorite genres. So I always save this one for last, partly because sometimes these books seem to show up in the reviews a little late. I don't really understand why. Maybe there's more to check in them because science fiction does have some valid science in it, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, we're doing it. This is our final episode of July pre-orders. And next week we'll be going on to the August hits. Like, we're already there because the summer is just flying by and is planning on being sad and wet the entire time, apparently. Okay, but I know what you're all waiting for because this seems to be popular. I'm very glad it is because it helps me give away more books. All right, for our giveaway today, once again, we'll be doing what we've been doing for the last few weeks. I am going to share with you 5 titles. I have 1 copy of each, just the one. If you see one that you want, put the title, well, you don't have to put your name because your name's usually there, but put the title and your MPL location that you prefer for pickup into the comments below this video. The first person to ask for each title will be the one who gets it. You have a slight advantage if you're watching me live, but I do tend to still give out books, and there's still books available for like the next 24 hours. There's actually for almost every one of these giveaways, there's been at least one book that you guys kind of didn't want, which they're starting to fill out my little rejection pile over here, which just means I'll probably take them downstairs and put them on a cart and see if anybody wants a free book. But anyway, okay. Let's get to the books. So first up, I have a book that's not actually out yet. It comes out July 6th. It is called Everyone in the Room Will Someday Be Dead by Emily Austen. This is about Gilda. She's a 20-something animal-loving atheist lesbian. She cannot stop ruminating about death. She's seeking relief from the din of her panicky mind. She responds to a flyer for free therapy at a local Catholic church, where she is greeted by Father Jeff, who assumes she's there for a job interview. Too embarrassed to correct him, Gilda is hired to replace a recently deceased receptionist, Grace Moppet. In between trying to memorize the lines to Catholic Mass, dodging her new maybe girlfriend, and erecting a dirty dish tower in her crumbling apartment, Gilda strikes up an email correspondence with Rosemary Reeves, who's been trying to reach her old friend Grace through the church inbox. Gilda can't bring herself to break the bad news to the sweet elderly woman, so she decides to impersonate Grace. But when the police discover suspicious circumstances surrounding Grace's death, Gilda may have to finally reveal the truth of her own mortifying existence. Blending the warmth, deadpan humor, and pitch-perfect observations about the human condition, Everyone in This Room Will Someday Be Dead is a moving exploration of what it takes to stay afloat in a world where your expiration and the expiration of those you love is the only certainty. So that was Everyone in the Room Will Someday Be Dead by Emily Austen. Next up, we have a horror title, The Need by Helen Phillips. The description is this. It's very short. She had heard footsteps, but she was sometimes hearing things. A passing ambulance mistaken for Ben's nighttime wail, the moaning hinges of the bathroom cabinet mistaken for Viv's impatient pre-tantrum sigh. Her heart and blood were loud. She needed them to not be so loud. From the Los Angeles Times Book Prize finalist and author of The Beautiful Bureaucrat comes a subversive, speculative thriller about a scientist and a mother of 2 young children who, by confronting a masked intruder in her home, slips into an existential rabbit hole where she grapples with the dualities of motherhood, joy and dread, mundanity and transcendence in blazing, arresting prose. This came out in 2019. That's The Need by Helen Phillips. Next up, we have Hummingbird Salamander by Jeff Vandermeer. This is about Jane Smith in quotation marks. So the security consultant, Jane Smith, receives an envelope with a key to a strange unit that holds a taxidermied hummingbird and clues leading her to a taxidermied salamander. Silvina, the dead woman who left the note, was a reputed eco-terrorist and the daughter of an Argentine industrialist. By taking the hummingbird from the storage unit, Jane sets in motion a series of events that quickly spins beyond her control. Soon, Jane and her family are in danger, with few allies to help her make sense of the true scope of her peril. Is the only way to safety to follow in Silvina's footsteps? Is it too late to stop? As Jane desperately seeks answers about why Silvina contacted her, time is running out, and possibly for her and possibly for the world. And they said it's Jeff Vandermeer at his cinematic, brilliant best, unwrapping profound questions about climate change, identity, and the world we inhabit into a tightly plotted thriller. And that's Hummingbird Salamander by Jeff Vandermeer. Next up, Tell the Machine Goodnight by, I always have to look in the front, but it's also on the back, by Kate Williams. This is, okay. So the story of this book, which came out a couple of years ago, is what does happy really mean? Pearl's job is to make people happy. Every day she provides customers with a personalized recommendation for greater contentment. She's good at her job, her office manager tells her, successful. But how does one measure an emotion? Meanwhile, there's Pearl's teenage son, Rhett, a sensitive kid who has forged an unconventional path through adolescence. Rhett seems to find greater contentment in being unhappy. The very rejection of joy is its own kind of pursuit of happiness. As his mother, Pearl wants nothing more than to help Rhett, but is it for his sake or for hers? Certainly, it would make Pearl happier. Regardless, her son is one person whose emotional life does not fall within the parameters of her job, not as happiness technician and not as a mother either. Told with warmth and humor and a clever touch from an alternating cast of endearing characters. Within Pearl and Rhett's world, Tell the Machine Goodnight delivers a smartly inventive, moving, and entertaining story about the relationships that define us. In a world obsessed with positive psychology, quick fixes, and technology, what happens when these obsessions begin to overlap? So that's Tell the Machine Goodnight. And one last one, I think this is horror or a thriller. I think it's, oh no, it's a sci-fi thriller, that's what it is. See, I've even got the little blue bookmarks in here that are just waiting for me to write your name right there, and which MPO location you want for pickup right there, and then send it off. Okay. So the end of October is about the race is on to find the origins of a mysterious killer virus as it brings the world to its knees. At an internment camp in Indonesia, 4 to 7 people are pronounced dead with acute hemorrhagic fever. When microbiologist Dr. Henry Parsons travels there on behalf of the World Health Organization to investigate, what he finds will soon have staggering repercussions. His driver, unknowingly carrying the devastating infectious disease, has joined the millions of worshippers on the annual Hajj to Mecca. Meanwhile, halfway across the globe, the deputy director of U.S. Homeland Security scrambles to mount a response to a rapidly spreading pandemic, which she believes may be the result of an act of biowarfare. Already fraying global relations begin to snap one by one as the virus slashes across the United States, dismantling institutions, scientific, religious, and governmental, and decimating the population. A full-tilt, electrifying, one-of-a-kind thriller steeped in real-life political and scientific implications. Lawrence Wright's The End of October is the most gripping read of the year. So that's The End of October. If you want any of these 5 books, put the name of the book and your MPL location for pickup in the comments below. When you arrive to pick this up, if you're one of the people chosen, first of all, I'll text you back in the comments, or I'll respond to your comment with, I'm sending this book to this location for you. When you get there, I have written whatever your name is on Facebook on the bookmark. So if they're having trouble finding it, tell them what your name is on Facebook. So if you have a maiden name in the middle somewhere there, you may be filed under that name rather than your current legal name, because that's what Facebook told me your name was. So just so you know. All right, but now it's time to share my screen and move on to books that aren't out yet. That's what we want to do. We want to talk about, there it is. We're going to talk about these MPL pre-orders so you can put some of them on hold before they come out. Yeah, that's the plan. All right. All right, first up is Capture the Crown by Jennifer Estep. This is the first book in a new trilogy, although the author has written about this world before. I thought I wrote down, the earlier series was called Crown of Shards, and this one is Capture the Crown. This is mainly about Gemma, who, as far as anyone can tell, is an empty-headed princess, only interested in gowns and jewels and pretty things, far more concerned with pretty things than, say, matters of state. But she's actually a spy. She's undercover, trying to find out who in the royal circle is stealing stones from a royal mine. In the process of investigating this, she'll encounter her mortal enemy, Prince Leonidas, or Prince Leo, and have to join forces with him to find out who's stealing the thrones and who's trying to capture the crown. There's also a talking gargoyle involved, so maybe fans of Disney's Hunchback of Notre Dame, maybe. A handful of early readers have already put this at above 4 stars. If you're interested in Capture the Crown by Jennifer Estep, it comes out July 6th. All right, We Have Always Been Here by Lena Nguyen. This is a debut novel. It's science fiction. It's about psychologist Dr. Grace Park. She's placed on a survey ship that has 13 crew members and some robots, and she's there to assess the crew and also to assess the remote planet that they're going to visit, with the planet being a possible site for colonization. But as soon as they arrive on Essos, which is the planet, a storm traps them on the ship on the planet. They can't fly away. They can't do anything. They can't leave. And pretty soon, the crew and even the androids start behaving strangely. The crew are having waking nightmares and are becoming increasingly paranoid. Dr. Park will discover that the crew, the androids, and even the planet are not what they seem. If you're interested in We Have Always Been Here, it comes out July 6th, as do lots of things. Lots of things come out July 6th. Okay, Appleseed by Matt Bell is considered a science fiction novel that is massive in scope and storytelling. It includes section that's in the 18th century, where 2 brothers are traveling across the frontier of North America, planting apple orchards in the hopes of one day harvesting those apples. Oh yeah. Today I'm drinking my Twinings Winter Spice, which is one of the only teas that I can drink without sugar. And I forgot to bring sugar, so drinking my Winter Spice. But as we know, it's just an excuse to eat cookies. In the next section of Appleseed, in the last half of the 21st century, climate change has ravaged the earth. One company happened to have invested in genetic engineering and food science and now owns all the world's resources. A growing resistance force is planning to force that company to redistribute their wealth and land. And in the final section, 1,000 years from now, North America is covered by a glacier, and one of the last sentient beings leaves the safety of their tech station to search for the last dredges of civilization. The early readers gave this a 3.9 star rating on Goodreads. If you're interested in Appleseed by Matt Bell, it comes out July 13th. All right, Notes from the Burning Age by Claire North. In a dystopian future, Venn guards the sacred texts. He's a kind of monk or a former monk. I'm not sure, it's not in my notes, but something like that. The texts talk about the events that led to this cataclysmic thing that drastically changed our world. The belief is that no one can know what's in them, or else the world might repeat the mistakes it made and lead to another disaster. But then a revolutionary brotherhood approaches Venn, pressuring him to translate some stolen writings, and he may have to decide how far he's willing to go to save the world and what he's willing to lose. This book got a starred review in Publishers Weekly. If you're interested in the Notes from the Burning Age by Claire North, it comes out July 20th. All right, Assassin's Orbit by John Appel. On the eve of planet Ilari's historic vote to join the Commonwealth, the assassination of a government minister threatens to shatter everything. Two private investigators and a police chief will join together to investigate. They'll discover clues that point disturbingly towards a threat humanity thought it had escaped, a threat that could destroy Ilari and spark an interplanetary war, unless this disparate team can work together to solve the mystery. Assassin's Orbit is coming out July 20th. All right, Come With Me. This is considered horror by Ronald Malfi. Aaron's life changed the December morning when his wife Allison was killed. From then on, he's haunted. But as he goes through her things, he finds a receipt for a motel room in another part of the country dated just weeks before she died. He'll find his wife had a hidden life and secrets that leave him obsessed to find the truth about the person closest to him, even if it puts his own life at risk. This is described as a masterful, heart-palpitating novel of small-town horror and psychological dread. If you're interested in Come With Me, it comes out July 20th. Next up, A Psalm for the Wild-Built. A Psalm? That's how you pronounce it, right? Something like that, by Becky Chambers. So this is the first book in a new science fiction series. It has been centuries since the robots of Earth gained self-awareness and laid down their tools. Centuries since they wandered en masse into the wilderness, never to be seen again. Centuries since they wandered en masse. I already did that. Then one day, the life of a monk is upended by the arrival of a robot. The robot is honoring an old promise of always checking in with humanity. He cannot go back until his question is answered. The question is, what do people need? This got a starred review from Booklist. If you're interested in A Psalm for the Wild-Built, I don't know. If you're interested in this Becky Chambers book, it comes out July 13th. Okay. I get another drink of tea. And we'll get into the Book of Accidents by Chuck Wendig. Long ago, Nathan lived in a house in the country with his abusive father and has never told his family what happened there. Long ago, Maddie was a little girl making dolls in her bedroom when she saw something she shouldn't have and is trying to remember the lost trauma by making haunting sculptures. Long ago, something sinister, something hungry, walked into the tunnels and the mountains and the coal mines of their hometown in rural Pennsylvania. Now Nate and Maddie Graves are married, and they have moved back into their hometown with their son Oliver. And now what happened long ago is happening again, and it's happening to Oliver. He meets a strange boy who becomes his best friend, a boy with secrets of his own and a taste for dark magic. The dark magic puts puts them at the heart of a battle of good versus evil and a fight for the soul of a family, and perhaps for all of the world. But the Graves family has a secret weapon in this battle, their love for one another. This received a starred review from Booklist. It's described as a masterpiece of literary horror, and it already has 4.3 star rating from early readers on Goodreads. If you're interested in the Book of Accidents, it comes out July 20th. The cover of this is hilarious. This is a rare thing to find, and if this is good, then it's very worth reading. This is a debut horror comedy. Okay. It is called A Touch of Jen by Beth Morgan. So Remy and Alicia, a couple of insecure service workers, are not particularly happy together, but they are bound by a shared obsession with Jen, a beautiful former coworker of Remy's who now seems to be following her bliss as a globe-trotting jewelry designer. Their relationship revolves around her, so they are that much more surprised when they run into her in the flesh, and even more surprised when she invites them to join her and her wealthy boyfriend on a trip to the Hamptons. This results in loads of class tension, plus small disturbances that turn into outright horror. Part millennial social comedy, part psychedelic horror, and all wildly entertaining. A Touch of Jen is a sly, unflinching examination of the hidden drives that lurk just outside the frame of our carefully curated lives. It has just under 4 stars from early readers. If you are interested in A Touch of Jen, it comes out July 13th. Okay, Night Bitch by Rachel Yoder. It's the name of the book. It's what the name of the book is. So an ambitious mother puts her career on hold to stay at home with her newborn son, but the experience does not match her imagination. 2 years later, she steps into a bathroom for a break from her toddler's demands, only to discover a dense patch of hair on the back of her neck. In the mirror, her canine suddenly looks sharper than she remembers. Her husband, who travels for work 5 days a week, casually dismisses her fears from a faraway hotel room. As the mother's symptoms intensify and her temptation to give in to her dog impulses peak, she struggles to keep her alter canine identity secret. Seeking a cure at the library, she discovers the mysterious academic tome, which basically becomes her Bible, a field guide to magical women, a mythical ethnography. Described as an outrageously original novel about art, power, and womanhood, wrapped in a satirical fairy tale, Night Bitch will make you want to howl in laughter and recognition. And you should. You should howl as much as you want. This debut fantasy already has 4.34 star rating on Goodreads from early readers. I think it's the best reviewed book in terms of Goodreads rating that we have today. It is Night Bitch, and it is coming out July 20th. All right, we're all done. Don't forget to go ahead and put which book you want and your MPL location for pickup from the giveaway section. If you haven't joined our Goodreads group, you should. I post all the titles that I talk about today there, and I occasionally add additional titles in discussion posts. And of course, we have the MPL pre-orders newsletter, which includes all the books I give out today and goes out right as I go live. It allows you to click the title and go straight to our catalog to put the book on hold. I will have to see you guys next week when we will talk about, August hits. I keep thinking that can't be right. And then I'm like, no, we're already at August hits. We're there. All right. See you guys next Tuesday.